Hello, Jodi.
Hello, Amanda. Hello, everybody.
Welcome to our second live stream.
Yay!
I'm Amanda Tosoff, and I'm a jazz pianist from Toronto, Ontario, and this is the lovely Jodi Proznick.
I am Jodi Proznick, and I'm a bass player and teacher out here on the west coast of Canada in BC, Vancouver area. And we are so excited to be live today on Facebook and YouTube to share a conversation with all of you. Yeah. Amanda, do you want to chat about...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So just chat about what we're doing today?
Absolutely. So we thought that we would gather some of our favorite musicians and do a live stream to talk about the rhythm section and as well talk about an upcoming webinar that Music Arts is doing October 4th with these lovely guests who are Ernesto Cervini on the drums and Mike Rud on the guitar. So we're super stoked to have them here to talk a little bit about the rhythm section. So should we invite them on?
Sure.
Do
we want to just tell them a little bit about what Music Arts is about, just in case they are
yes,
not?
I think that's a great idea, Jodi.
All right, I'm just going to give a brief synopsis of Music Arts Collective. So Music Arts Collective is Amanda and myself and a wonderful arts administrator out here in Vancouver named Francesca Fung. And the three of us have combined forces to create, curate, and present some outstanding educational opportunities for people around big ideas like imagination, creation, expertise, and basically just offering the community at large opportunities to learn new things and grow in music. So we want it to be accessible, affordable, diverse, and super useful to all of you out there. So whether you're a teacher or you are actually a professional teaching and want some teaching tips, or maybe you are new to playing the music or even not so new, I think there's going to be hopefully eventually something for all of you out there on our new platform. So there could be lots of free content, and then we'll have some stuff on our new hub, which is musicartscollective.com. So come check us out and come join the mailing list. And we promise not to bombard you all the time. We will just share the good, juicy stuff when we have it ready for you. Awesome. So Amanda, shall we invite our guests?
Yes. Okay, so we have two wonderful guests who round out our rhythm section today. The first is Ernesto Cervini, who is a Toronto-based drummer, composer, band leader, educator, and publicist. So he's a very busy man. He's on faculty at the University of Toronto. He co-leads a bunch of bands, including his band Turbo Prop that just won the Juno for Best Jazz Album this year. And when he's not leading a band and teaching, he's helping a whole bunch of other artists get their music out to the world with his publicity company, Orange Grove Publicity. So he's got a lot of projects on the go. We'll tell you a bit more about that later. Our second guest is Mike Rud, who is a lovely guitar player, who is originally from Edmonton, but has lived all over, including Ottawa, Montreal, New York, and now he's in Nelson, BC, teaching at Selkirk College. So, and Mike also is a Juno winner for his beautiful album Notes on Montreal in 2014, I believe it was. And he released a new record this year with Peter Bernstein called Salome's Dance. So let's welcome our guests, Ernesto and Mike. Here we go. Here's Mike.
Hi guys.
Here's Ernesto.
Yay!
Hey guys. So should we start with some playing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So since there's a leg, we're gonna play a little bit. We're gonna trade off a little bit. So should we play something from our upcoming webinar?
I think so. I think that's a fine idea, Amanda.
Oh, all right. So this is Duke Ellington's "Take the A Train." I'll start.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Yay!
Oh, we were actually in sync there.
Yeah, the
So
internet gives you
excellent.
one note.
Yes.
Amazing.
So
Awesome.
much fun.
So yeah, we did try and play a little bit together, and unfortunately, our technology, which I'm sure many of you watching this are aware, is not such that we can all play together in real time. Amanda and Ernesto are way over in Toronto. Mike and I are in BC, and it just doesn't.
And even
quite
I
fire.
am a 9-hour drive from Jodi.
You are, yes, a very long drive, beautiful drive, but nevertheless, a big drive. So we're gonna have to. But again, sometimes things like this offer new opportunities, such as this hang we get to have virtually with all of you guys. So we're super excited to be here all together. So I'm gonna start. Apparently, I'm starting with question number 1. So I'm super curious. I'm always super curious about people's stories and journeys to where they are. And I think that it's important for us to kind of demystify the process a little bit, because I think if you find someone online or find someone you love and you listen to them at this point in their journey and you're like, holy crap, that person's amazing. You don't really see the blood, the sweat, the tears, the work that goes on in to get people to that point. And the whole point is that everybody has creativity in them and capacity for amazing things. So we're going to talk a little bit about background to start, and we're going to start with Mike. Mike, so my first question for you is, how did you discover the guitar? What was the discovery story, that moment in your journey?
It was because my brothers began playing the guitar, my older brothers. And I wanted to do whatever it is they were doing because I thought they were the coolest people. And then around that time, I discovered the Beatles. So that was when I was living in Streetsville in Mississauga in Ontario. I was about 11 years old, and I was delivering the Toronto Star. And Hard Day's Night came on the TV, the Beatles movie. And I spent the next 3 years like getting guitar lessons and buying a couple of guitars and learning every song out of this big, thick white book called The Beatles Complete. That's what it was. It was definitely the Beatles.
The Beatles.
Yeah.
Excellent. Ernesto, how about you? What was your gateway to the drums? What was your big aha moment?
Well, I started playing piano when I was about 5, and I grew up in a musical family. Both my sisters are musicians as well, and my mom is a administrator at a music school. So I was around it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I started piano, and then shortly, I think I started drums when I was like 10 or 11, and I started clarinet around the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know. I mean, I kind of fell in love with the drums pretty quickly. I knew that was like the one that I liked the most. I still love playing the other instruments. I always did. I never liked practicing very much, any of the
I
instruments.
feel.
It took a long time for me to kind of develop a respect and uh, ability to do that on my own. But yeah, so I grew up kind of being forced to practice and playing all 3 instruments. But right away, I kind of knew drums were the one that I was closest to. Similar to Mike's story, I started playing along with Led Zeppelin a lot, and my first couple drum teachers were rock drummers. So
Mm-hmm.
I had a book of Led Zeppelin drum transcriptions, and I remember for a while there, my practice was just play Stairway to Heaven, because it's like a really long tune, right? I think it's like 8 minutes. And so if I had to practice drums for 45 minutes, I just play that song 6 times. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. This is
Wow.
great. Just
Wow.
play Stairway 6 times.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
eventually I started playing in a big band shortly after that, like a student big band. And so I kind of got an appreciation for jazz. And then, my oldest sister, Amy Cervini, who's a vocalist, she's a saxophone player as well. So I remember hearing her learn these, Charlie Parker omnibook stuff and simple jazz etudes. And I was like, that I really like that stuff. So then after that, I was kind of hooked.
Amazing. Amazing. That's an amazing story. One of the things I'm picking up on is just I came from a music home too, right? So our family were all musicians, and my dad was a band teacher. So this whole idea of practicing, it's just music just was sort of what we did. It wasn't like something you studied. It was just what we did. I think Amanda it's that for you a little bit too, right? It's just sort of the arts are just where we hang out and what we did. We were around musicians all the time. And so when you have to like actually start working at it, it's like, oh yeah, I actually have, at a certain point you have to dive in and actually work on stuff. And yeah, that can be a bit weird when you're, just dancing around your living room with your music siblings. So Amanda, did you want to, I actually jumped. I'm totally wrecking our little script here. Why don't you do number 2,
That
my
is
friend?
totally okay. We are good at improvising, so all good. So question number 2 to you guys. So we are a piano player, guitar player, drummer, and bassist. We are the rhythm section, and that's, I would say, every gig we do, that's like, comping and accompanying and playing the rhythm, providing that foundation. That's what we do. And so I'm wondering, what are your all-time favorite 3 rhythm sections and why? Ernesto, do you want to start?
Sure. That's a tough one, but the first one that comes to mind is Miles Davis's rhythm section with Philly Joe Jones and Red Garland and Paul Chambers. They were just it's just so swinging, and I liked how responsive. I like how responsive they were to the band and to the flow of the music. Another one that comes to mind is Bill Evans. I mean, it's tricky because when you talk about rhythm section, a lot of times in my head, I think about a rhythm section behind horns functioning as a rhythm section versus a trio, which is kind of a different thing. That being said, the next 2 that I'm going to mention are trios. But I really love the Bill Evans trio with Scott LaFaro and Paul Motion. That band kills me. There's just so much listening happening. And I don't know, that was that the Bill Evans album Portrait in Jazz is one that I fell in love with in my teens and still listen to all the time. And then I guess another one rhythm section that really grabbed me when I was young and kind of never let go was the Oscar Peterson Trio, with Ray Brown and Ed Thigpen. It's just so swinging, and it's the kind of music that I instantly start smiling when I hear it, and then I don't want to stop listening. So those are my three.
And how about you, Mike?
No, I want Jodi to go first.
Oh,
Oh,
wait, it's actually, you guys are our guests. I would just say yes, Ernesto.
I mean,
I mean,
Well
really,
played.
honestly, like those, I mean, there's the only other one I would actually, there's two I would actually throw in there. And I'm not even gonna, I want to hear from Mike, would be the Miles band with Tony, Ron, Herbie.
Tony
the
Williams, Ron Carter,
because,
Herbie
yes,
Hancock.
Ron, yeah. Because for me, they took that amazing rhythm section that Philly Joe and Paul and went, yeah, it's still super grounded in the tradition,
Yeah.
but the sense of play and creativity and imagination and in the momentness and conversation that happened, it was just a whole other level. But I love Ron Carter on that stuff because he still really lays it down, so it always feels really grounded and rooted in the time, and his sound is so like on all those 60s albums is just, it's so, earthy. So that Herbie and Tony could just be, they were like the, like, I don't want to get into analogies because it may be weird. So I'm an analogy person, but they just were able to really have an interplay, and because they could trust that Ron was there for them. And as a bass player, I like to be that. I appreciate that. I appreciated that in those albums. And the other one, of course, is Train's quartet. But maybe I'll let Mike talk about what they.
Sure.
Because we only have a limited amount of time, and I'll
You
keep
bet.
going.
No, I appreciate it, Jodi. That's so I deliberately thought of a few that I love that don't come up right away, which is why I wanted to go last. If you listen to the Ornette Coleman record called Shape of Jazz to Come, you'll hear Billy Higgins and Charlie Hayden.
Yeah.
And it's remarkable because that's often called free jazz. But I think there are these contexts where what the soloist is doing over top of it is quite different from anything that's happened before. And it's almost like, okay, well, if you're going to do that with the melody part of it, you'd better make sure that the train that the whole thing's riding in is really, really solid and gripping. And not only the way they play together, but the way it's been recorded, you can really feel the kind of woodiness of Charlie Hayden's bass, and yet it's a funny thing that happens between bass and drums. Between that ride cymbal in a swing groove and where the bass is playing. These guys could tell you a lot more than I could about it, but it creates a certain type of a space that, depending on which one is a little ahead or a little behind, or even just something about the weights of their sound, that makes every combination of rhythm players its own thing a little bit. Even if they're all doing it as by the book as they can, like personalities create this unique thing. It's part of what's really beautiful about this music. I would recommend going and listening to them. For great piano trio, because I ran into that thing that Ernesto mentioned. I immediately just start thinking about piano trios because they're kind of like freestanding rhythm sections that don't need a horn player. And I thought of Israel Crosby and Vernel Fournier, Ahmad Jamal's rhythm section. They possess kind of an Olympic level magnetic connection. Count Basie's rhythm section, Walter Page, Papa Joe Jones, and the great Freddie Green on guitar, who's kind of a one-man rhythm section all on his own. I came up with other ones, but those will be my three.
Love it. Yay!
Yeah.
So good. I hope you guys out there are taking notes. Anyone new to this music?
I will post video links in the chat because I looked some stuff up, so I'll just pop them in here right now.
And actually, we also we have a Music Arts Spotify playlist. So there's a whole bunch of rhythm section examples and also some of Ernesto and Mike's music, and Jodi and my music too. So you guys can go check that out. There's a whole bunch of stuff up there, and we can add some of these other rhythm sections that we might have missed later as well. Yeah. Okay, so should we move on to question number 3?
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay, so when you guys aren't playing as side people in a rhythm section, what are you guys up to? Like, what's your recent project? And yeah, tell us a little bit about that, and maybe we'll listen to a little bit of something afterward.
Who should go first?
Well, Ernesto, you spoke first. Do you want to go first?
Okay.
There you go.
So you mentioned my group Turboprop. We released our latest album came out last year. And then I actually have a more recent album than that with a group of mine called Tetrahedron, which features Luis Deniz on the alto saxophone and Rich Brown on the electric bass. And special guest on the album was Nir Felder, who's a guitar player based in New York. And so I tend to keep myself pretty busy with lots of different, as you mentioned, lots of different bands. Because I when I'm not busy, I'm not as happy. So I find that it's better if I just have lots of things happening at all times. But yeah, so that's my latest thing is Tetrahedron. And then, I mean, Turboprop's kind of my baby. That's the group that I'm probably, thinking about the most often, and actually really curious as to what's going to happen because 2 of the guys live in New York, and so I have no idea when I'll get to see them again. And I want to make music with my band again, but we'll see.
Oh man. Well, should we listen to a little clip?
Sure. Yeah. So
Tell us
there's
about
there's a clip here, a video clip of Turboprop playing an arrangement that I did of a song called My Shining Hour. And the interesting thing is this arrangement is based off of the Jeff Keezer solo piano recording of this same tune. He did, he has a beautiful album called Turn Up the Quiet. And he did a solo piano version of My Shining Hour, which I fell in love with. And so I transcribed it. Actually, a long time ago when I was a teenager, I transcribed it with the help of my piano teacher. And then I sat on it forever. And then I decided to try and arrange it for Turboprop and make all the horn players play Jeff Keezer's incredible lines. So, yeah, here it is.
All right, here we go. So good, Ernesto. Love it.
Thank you. I miss those guys.
Oh,
I miss that band.
so beautiful.
I'm just going to mention that's Tara Davidson on the soprano saxophone and Joel Fromm on the tenor saxophone, William Karn on the trombone, Adrian Ferrugia on piano, Dan Lewis on bass.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Yay. Thanks so much for sending that and sharing.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful album. So Mike, you have a new album out. Was it this year or was it actually last year? It's Salome's Dance.
It was
right?
May of this year that it came out.
Beautiful.
We recorded it about a year before that.
Tell us a little bit about that album.
Salome's Dance. It's back in the early 90s, I lived for about a year in New York. And actually, even before that, I had run into this guitar player my own age named Peter Bernstein, who was, and then as the years went by, it was amazing to watch, as he kind of became a preeminent guitar player in what you might call straight ahead jazz. And off and on, we kept in touch, and we played a few times together in New York. And finally, in I think it was 2015, 2016, I just got in touch with him again and said, hey, what if I brought you up to Canada and we played together a little bit? So that happened a couple of times over the next 2 years that I brought Peter up. And then I decided we should record this. So I got a couple of great players in Montreal that I love to play with. A great bass player named Alec Walkington, and a marvelous swinging drummer from Montreal named Dave Lang, who, in fact, is about to move to Edmonton, I hear, through the grapevine.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off air. Maybe it's not supposed to be common knowledge.
He's going to be in Edmonton?
Oh, maybe I should have kept my mouth shut about that.
Uh-oh.
I didn't hear about that through Edmonton. I heard about it. Maybe it's a rumor. I don't actually know it.
I told you guys, we have to be careful this doesn't get into like a did you hear?
Yeah. Anyway, he's jeez, I'm such an idiot.
No, that's great.
So-
That's great news.
So yeah, he's such a swinging drummer, and I can remember anytime Ed Bickert, the great Canadian guitar player, would come to Montreal, he would ask to play with Dave on drums. And I was living in Ottawa for a while, and the great bebop piano player Barry Harris came and played in Ottawa with Kieran Overs, the Toronto bassist, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it, but you got to get that drummer from Montreal, that Dave Lang. And so it's those two guys, and I wrote a bunch of tunes that were kind of like standards. I took Con Alma, the Dizzy Gillespie tune, and I put it into 5 and wrote a little line on it. And then the other tunes on the record that aren't written directly on the chord changes of standards they work the same ways as standards. They're very easy for people to play if those people have played plenty of this kind of music. So that's what Salome's Dance is, and I'm really glad I got it recorded and put out, because the next thing I knew, I moved to British Columbia.
Awesome. Well, it's a beautiful album, Mike, and
Thank you.
we put the websites for Ernesto and Mike up in the comments or the description, so please go check them out and buy their records and check them out. Beautiful music.
Thank you.
So Mike, we're going to share something. It's not from Salome's Dance, but you want to tell us about the clip that we're going to play?
Oh, yeah, that's right. This one is from Nanaimo, BC, from 2018. I did a little winter tour where I went and played Calgary, and I went and played some stuff in Vancouver, and then I went and played up and down Vancouver Island. And this was at a great venue called The Lighthouse in Nanaimo with kind of a house rhythm section there. Ken Lister is a brilliant bass player, great guy. And Hans Verhoeven on drums, who I used to play with a lot back in Montreal with Vanessa Rodriguez's group. But now he lives on the island, and
Hans is about to be a dad.
yeah, I've heard that.
Oh, that's
Just
exciting.
to bring it home again.
They're not sure who the mother is. And Brian Buchanan on piano, who came in from Jasper to do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's I'm Old Fashioned.
All right, let's listen. Here we go. One second. And here we go.
No audio.
Oh no.
Hey, Vanessa, am I audible at the moment? Or not Vanessa, Jesus. Amanda.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay,
Great.
so I'm sharing this. Let me just double check.
Just while you're doing that, I just wanted to mention at the beginning, I mentioned Freddie Green from the Count Basie band, and the style, the strumming, the guitar underneath my voice there is kind of reminiscent of what's often called a Freddie Green style. Although Freddie Green didn't really play that way, but it's all 4 beats, so we call it Freddie Green style.
Okay, let's try it now. Let us know if you can hear it.
Yeah.
I'm old-fashioned. I love the moonlight. I love the old-fashioned things. The sound of rain upon my window pane. The starry song that April sings. This year's fancies are passing fancies, but sighing sighs, holding hands, these my heart understands. I'm old-fashioned, but I don't mind it. That's how I long to be, as long as you'll agree to stay old-fashioned with me. Oh, I'm old-fashioned. I love the moonlight. I love the old-fashioned thing. The sound of rain upon my window pane. The stars on that April sand. This year's fancies are passing fancies, but sighing sighs and holding hands, and this my heart understands. I'm old-fashioned, but I don't mind it. That's how I long to be, as long as you agree to stay old-fashioned, to stay old-fashioned, to stay old-fashioned with me. Great tune, man.
Yay!
I played. Thank you guys.
Voice. I love your voice so much. By the
Played
way,
the whole
guys,
clip, man. We went back to the lighthouse for a tune there. We got to go.
great.
We got to pay them cover now online.
Uh-oh.
No, this is great. We're going late, but that doesn't matter because it's just so beautiful to have you guys here and to share your music and your insights and your wisdom and your amazingness. And hopefully, some new people will be introduced to you today. Some of the West Coast folk will get to know who you both are, and because it's amazing, we're so lucky. We're so
Very
lucky to have you
grateful
guys
to be
making
asked.
music in the
Yeah,
world. Woo! So
absolutely.
beautiful, so beautiful. Listen, we are probably getting a little bit close to our time. Hey, Amanda, you're kind of stage managing the event. Are we? Where are we at?
Yes.
Are we doing okay?
I think that maybe we can end with a little game called Take 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So this is a thing Amanda and I have did. We're going to do these speed round slam answer because sometimes we ask questions and questions answers can be elaborate, but today we want them to be kind of quick and short and just boom. So we're calling it Take 5 with Amanda and Jodi. So I'm gonna ask both of you a question, and if you could keep your answers to like a sentence max.
All right.
All right. So it's like okay. So I will start with Ernesto. Question 1 for you. Actually, maybe I'll do all 5 with Ernesto, and then I'll do all 5 with Mike. So, Mike, you do some research before.
He gets to think about it while I'm answering. He gets to plan it.
He actually got on early and asked for that. So,
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, number 1. Ernesto,
Mm-hmm.
which drummer from history do you wish you could have watched live?
Tony Williams. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Number 2, they say that there are usually around 3 people in a person's life who light the spark towards a passion. Sometimes it's a family member, sometimes a teacher, a mentor, a friend. Who is one of those people that lit the music fire in you?
I can think of a couple, but I think the first one would be my 2 sisters. I'm going to cheat and say 2, but my sisters. Yeah, listening to them
sisters.
play and yeah.
I love that. I love that. What's your favorite time of day to make stuff and get creative?
Morning. Actually, I'm a
Morning.
morning person. So yeah, first thing,
Nice.
as soon as the kids go to school.
Oh yeah, I feel that. Yeah. Okay, so what is your favorite venue to play in? Now, it could be a specific venue or it could be like a general venue that you like. Like, I prefer to play in blah. Or it could be, I've played this room and it was like the best venue ever.
I'm going to say a specific venue. There's so many great venues across Canada. But there's one just outside of Toronto called the Jazz Room, which is in Kitchener-Waterloo. And it is one of my favorite spots. Great audience always, super nice staff, great stage, great sound.
God, the
Everything.
Jazz Room. Shout out to the Jazz Room. Maybe you
Yeah.
can put that in the comments so people can support the Jazz Room and
Yeah,
check
I
out
love
the
the
Jazz
Jazz Room.
Room. And maybe
Yes.
venues can ask them what's so great and do the same stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, and the last one is, how old were you when you decided that music was it? Do you remember that time?
Yeah, I was really young. I knew by the time I went to high school, I knew that I wanted to be a jazz drummer. So
Cool.
12, something like
Whoa.
that. Yeah,
Wow.
12 or 13.
Very
I kinda knew.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you have an upcoming gig or event that you're excited about? This is the bonus question.
I actually do. I'm playing at the Rex in Toronto on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week with different groups. So on Thursday, it'll be my band Tetrahedron that just released an album. And Wednesday, it's Adrian Ferrugia and Mark Godfrey. And Tuesday, it's with Dan Fortan and a horn player to be named hopefully very soon.
I'm sure you'll get some texts right now. I'm free.
Yeah.
And I have a sock to put on my bell. I'm cool.
Yeah.
I have a mask that I can play with. Okay. That's the criteria now.
Yeah.
COVID friendly.
Exactly.
I used to joke that I would get the calls for gigs because I'm the shortest bass player in Canada. So anything with a low ceiling, I'm like, Jodi will fit there, so we can hire her. I'm like, I'll take whatever you can take to get the gig. Okay, Mike, on to you. What's your guitar player from history you wish you could have watched live?
That would be Charlie Christian.
All
First
right.
electric jazz guitar player, played with Benny Goodman.
Yes, and did so much in such a little amount of time. I mean, crazy. Talk about burning bright. So they say there's 3 people in a person's life who light the spark around a passion. Who is that person for you? One of those 3 for you.
For the guitar, it was a guy named Brian Hughes, who was my teacher in Edmonton when I was in high school. Later, he moved to Toronto, and now he lives in the United States. He's a great sort of hollow body. He plays with a lot of pop things, and yeah, magnificent
He was the
player.
guy. Amazing.
Yeah, it's what, like, it's sort of like, oh, that's a big musical crush that I had. That, and I come back to watching video of him when I want to feel that old feeling again of why I love this.
I love that. It speaks to the power of a mentor
Oh,
in
yeah.
the early years. It's really important.
Yeah.
Finding the right person. What's your favorite time to do stuff? Make stuff.
For writing songs, it would be first thing in the morning. For everything else, it's any time after that. Like for playing and practicing and whatever. Yeah.
Your favorite venue?
Wherever my next gig is. No, I don't just mean now. I mean at any given point in my whole life. Like it's you have incredible experiences in little intimate spaces, which is one of the great things about this music. And then occasionally you get to play in some beautiful place with immaculate sound, and that's amazing too. It's just always trying to think about the one that I'm at right then.
And be grateful for it.
Oh,
whatever
for
it
sure.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gratitude is the elixir for a lot of, yeah. How old were you, Mike, when you were like, this is it?
It faded in. I had like maybe when I was very young, like I was really dedicated to it. But I'd say around 18 or 19 is when around when I took lessons with Brian Hughes. This is when I just went, okay, this is what I want to do. And I really haven't. Well, there's one time I looked back since then, but this is supposed to be short answers. So when I was 18 or 19.
We'll do a longer chat, you guys. This is not going to be the end of this. So this is awesome. Oh, and do you have anything coming up that you want to share with everybody?
The most relevant thing is probably that record I just put out. But I'm teaching here at Selkirk College, and I'm very lucky to have this full time here, and it's all about getting these courses up and running with our great students. That's turning out to be just an absolute blessing. Love this place.
That's awesome, Mike. I'm sure they love you. They're
I
very
hope so.
lucky to have you there. I'm so grateful. I'm so glad that both Ernesto and Mike and Amanda are teaching out in the world in institutions and bringing their big heart-shaped quarter notes to the planet and to their students. I think it's I'm really glad that some of our friends and fans and followers can get to know you two, Ernesto and Mike, a little bit because you're awesome and you're doing great work on and off the bandstand. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for doing this.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. And
well, we're just
inviting us.
trying to create community in the ways that we can right now and trying to connect. And also, Amanda and I were chatting about how we have had the great pleasure of being part of this music community for many, many years. And we always have these amazing conversations on the bandstand, also off the bandstand, about all kinds of beautiful things and how can we bring those forward, because I think right now the planet needs some positivity and some optimism and focus on all the juicy good stuff humans do and not so much the problematic things.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think music does that for people. So yeah, you guys are in the embodiment of that. Amanda, do you want to talk a little bit about the webinar before we sign off, about what exactly we're going to do? Because people may want to sign up and join us.
Absolutely. So in the comments above, I've put Ernesto's website, Mike's website, and our website, musicartscollective.com should be up there. Also on this handy, there we go. There
Woohoo!
it is.
So high tech.
So go check out their music and feel free to go check out our website. We have an upcoming webinar October 4th. The info is also above. And Mike and Ernesto are going to be there with us, and we're going to put together a presentation on the rhythm section, and that's geared towards jazz listeners, jazz enthusiasts, students, teachers, anyone who's interested in knowing a little bit more about the rhythm section and getting some basic tools that can help you learn more about your role as a rhythm section instrument. So I think that's about it. We've got some other things you guys can check out on the website. Jodi, do you want to add anything?
We had some courses up. We've decided to postpone them actually to the fall for a bunch of different reasons. Just things are getting a little crazy in terms of prepping, and we want to make sure what we do put out there is awesome and high quality and has all the information that people will find useful. So that's, I guess just the postponing of the courses, but the webinars will be happening. And about the webinars too, our last webinar, which is how to create great online courses, which Amanda and I share all our tips and tricks, is online. It's free, and all you have to do is go to our website. You can sign up for it, and you will get access to that webinar for free. And also, if you sign up for this rhythm section one, you will have access to it in perpetuity. So if you can't make it on the day, we'll have it on the website and our hub, and you can continue. So if you are a teacher, or especially a teacher and who is looking to improve your rhythm section in your jazz band or your combos, I highly recommend you join us, because we're going to give some really specific things on what to focus on, and then you can actually show it to your kids later, which is what we're wanting to do, is to share what we know and help everybody in the ways that we can. So yeah, I guess that's it. Anything else, my sweet friend, my sweet partner? We've built all this on Zoom. We haven't even been in the same room. It's kind of amazing. I know.
I think the last thing again is to feel free to like our Music Arts Facebook page, to subscribe on YouTube, because we'll have some content going up there later this fall. And yeah, just.
Amanda and I.
Yeah.
We're going to be on a podcast next weekend with Muse West. So if you want to look out for that, and just a lot of cool initiatives. So just follow us, and we're going to bring all kinds of amazing people into your worlds, hopefully.
Yes.
We think they're amazing. We're going to curate some good stuff.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Ernesto and Mike, for joining us. We're so
Thank you
looking
again
forward
for
to
having
October
us.
4th. Such a pleasure.
Thank you.
And have a great rest of your
Good
weekend.
luck to you guys teaching in September. Good luck with all of the craziness, and stay healthy and well. And let's wave goodbye to all the people watching and say, hey guys, thanks for showing up.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
So much.